By the end of this short video, you'll be able to travel like a pro. Hi, I'm Linda Lingo, financial coach and money mama mentor. I'm also an international traveler. After spending a month in Europe, I want to share some of my travel insights with you so you'll be able to travel like a pro. Now, the first one is so obvious, yet so many of us do it. What do you think that is? We overpack. Now, I read the blogs, I saw Rick Steves' YouTube, I printed out packing lists, and I still overpacked. My check-in suitcase weighed 48.7 pounds. I couldn't have gotten a whole lot more in there. And did I wear it all? No. There were shoes. I took 5 pairs of shoes. I didn't wear 2 pairs. There were clothes I didn't wear. I way overpacked. So my packing tip is I am challenging myself to limit myself to a carry-on for my next trip. How am I going to do this? I'm going to put all of my clothes, not all my clothes, I'm going to pick a color combination. I'm going to do black and white and probably put in a little purple, my favorite color. And I am going to lay those outfits out on the bed. And then I am going to take half of them and put them away. I'm not going to even consider them. And then I'm going to make sure that the rest of them can make at least 4 outfits, combining, different combinations, different outfits. I'm going to take a couple scarves to dress them up or make different looks. And I'm only going to take 2 pairs of shoes. Yep. I found out that my tennis shoes, I love my Lone Peak walking shoes, super comfy, look great with everything casual, work really well. And my black sandals. Now mine have a really nice padding on them, they're Clark's. And so they look really nice. I can wear them evening with my dresses, or I can use them during the day, walking, short trips, not hiking. So those are my 2 shoes I'm going to take. So I would challenge you to pack a carry-on and wear your tennis shoes and pack your sandals. And the other thing that I found works really well are packing cubes. I love packing cubes. They work great. Now, we were doing a lot of different weathers, so the packing cubes were great. I used the compression ones to get the air out of, I actually had to take a warm jacket and jeans and things like that, so that got all the air out, which helped compress them, take up less space in my suitcase. And then I had some regular ones. So I had one for tops, one for underwear, one for my scarves and belts, one for my skirts. Anyway, it really made it easier because I was in 10 hotels in 30 days. I did not totally unpack every time, every hotel. So the packing cubes made it very convenient to know what was in the different ones, and I could just pull them out. I didn't have to totally unpack to look for something. That and leave room for purchases. That's one thing I didn't do. I wasn't able to buy hardly anything, and I love to shop. So I am going to possibly take an extra carry-on, not suitcase, but just a bag, so that I would have room for a few purchases. So those are my packing tips, but I'm curious, what packing tips do you have? Leave them in the comments below. My second tip is about air travel. Now, I didn't find this out until I got home. Wish I had it when I was traveling. It's an app called App in the Air. And what it does is it tracks the waiting time for check-in and security lines at airports. Now, this would have saved me quite a bit of time, honestly, because I was a little paranoid, especially in the Amsterdam airport. I'd heard the nightmares, and I had seen the luggage graveyard at the Amsterdam airport when we arrived. So I knew how bad it was. They were short on staff. Things were running way behind. So on our way back, I was paranoid, and we literally got to the airport 5 hours before departure. They won't even let you into the airport to check in until 4 hours before your departure. So we had an extra hour to kill. It wasn't all bad because we found a sweet little bistro. I could have my last croissant and Americano coffee. But so we made the best of it. But it would have saved me time. We wouldn't have gotten up quite so early. We wouldn't have had to go to the airport quite so early, because the other thing was we were there early enough. The lines hadn't gotten too long. And that's one thing I noticed was as the day progressed, the lines did get longer. So if you want to save yourself time and not waste it at the airport, I suggest getting the app in the air to track those check-in and security line waits. The other thing that I did do, and I recommend, at least it worked for me, was I upgraded from economy to economy plus or comfort plus. Every airline has a different name. For a little extra leg room, it just was more comfortable. That's all I'm going to say. It was more comfortable. It was worth it for me. I'd recommend it. The other thing I did, which a friend actually suggested this, and it worked great, was airline stewards and stewardesses are unappreciated, and they also are short-staffed. And so I bought them a box of chocolates. Of course, it was dark chocolate because that's my favorite. And I gave it to the stewardess that was serving us shortly after takeoff. Oh my gosh, you would have thought she'd won the lottery. She was so thankful. She wrote down our seat numbers. She made a point of giving us extra goodies. She actually brought us the travel bag that the first class customers had. She gave us, extra meals. When I went back to the back, she would give us snacks. We had wine, beer. I mean, she treated us so well. And all because of a $5 box of dark chocolates. I mean, it was just the act of acknowledging that I appreciated her. And I did it on the way coming back too. Same thing. Super grateful, super sweet. I think there was like 5 or 6 stewardesses that thanked us because they were sharing it in the back. So anyway, it's a small way to show them your appreciation. But let me tell you, it was really nice that they recognized us too. So that's my travel tip. Number 2 is air tips. Number 3 is I would suggest learning a few words in the language of the country that you're going to visit. Hello, goodbye, please, thank you, are just simple words to learn. And I did that in German, in French, and in Italian. So those were all the 3 basic languages that we used in our trip. And it was really sweet because they appreciated the fact that you're trying to at least say hello, goodbye, please, thank you in their language. Of course, once you start speaking, they realize you're English. And in the cities, they all switch into English. It's the universal second language. I think we're very spoiled. But in the rural areas, that is not the case. So I have to tell you a funny story. We're driving through Italy, and we're ready for lunch. We wanted to stop. And they do not mark on their interstates, the basic restaurants that are at the next exit. At least that's the way it is in California and Oregon. So anyway, so I'm the navigator, so I'm looking on my phone, for a place to pull off and eat. And so I was like, okay, this place has good reviews. So we pull off and we're going to this industrial part of town, which, it's like, oh my gosh, what did I get us into? And we pull in and there's a few other people. And we thought, oh, what the heck, it got good reviews. Let's give it a try. Well, the poor girls knew no English whatsoever. And the owner came out. And so he's, we can't read the menu. It's in Italian. And he goes, you'll like. And so the next thing we know, we're getting all this food. We had no idea what we were going to eat. We're getting all this food. It was the best Italian meal we had our whole trip. It was fantastic. So I guess the moral of the story is, you can communicate, trust the locals. I think they want to do good by you and be willing to enjoy the journey. You never know what you're going to experience. So, but learn a few language basics. So that's tip number 3. Number 4 is when you're planning your trip, plan a minimum of 2 nights at any location you're going to be at. Why? Because we found that when we got there by noon, even if our room wasn't ready, they would hold our suitcases for us. We could park the car. And then I had hired either a personal tour guide or had booked us on a small group local tour. And that was the way we got to know the lay of the land, the so to speak, the city, the old town. It was a great way to learn about the history, about the food, about the culture, and about restaurants, and where to explore the next day on our own. So then the next day we would go out, and we did all this on foot. We would walk miles. We walked usually 6 to 10 miles a day. And we would explore, and the tour guide had given us restaurant recommendations, so that gave us a good opportunity to try one or two of those. And it was just really sweet. And then the checkout day, we would relax, take it easy, and check out, and then head on to our next destination. So all that to say, 2-night minimum. In several places we did stay 3 nights, which was really nice, and 4 in a couple. So, but 10-night, we did have 10 hotels in 30 days. So we were hopping, we saw a lot, but at the same time, we were able to relax some too. And then tip number 5 is ground transportation. So we did rent a car. We did drive international. It worked out well. We were in Europe, so luckily they drive on the right side of the road. Trying to figure out signs that are in Swiss is a little interesting, but it worked out well. In cities, parking is a pain and very expensive. So that was probably the drawback. So our takeaway was we would do more trains next time. We would travel between cities on train, use a Euro-Rail pass. And when we were going out into more rural locations, which we did, then we would rent a car in the city, and we would drive to the rural location, enjoy that, come back, turn the car in, and go from there. We would have saved quite a bit of money, and it would have just been probably a little bit easier. But it gave us a lot of flexibility, so that was the flip side of that. So I'd love to have you share in the comments what mode of transportation works for you. If you've used the Euro-Rail pass, how did that work for you? Between countries, because we were in 5 different countries. So let me know. Share your pro tips in the comments below. Check out my entire blog. I've got more on my blog, lindalingo.com/blog, to see more pro tips. And until next time, I'm Linda Lingo, financial coach and money mama mentor, educating women to achieve financial freedom.